Hello folks, and welcome to Paddock Pass, your first of 2017 and your first of this week, as we aim to every day from now onwards bring you an update on the latest 2017 car launch. And it is an exciting time for Formula One. Brand new technical regulations, brand new and very different looking cars. Today being Tuesday, we've already had one car launch. That was yesterday, Monday, and it was the Sauber C36, not unveiled in a big launch, physical launch, just launched online. And what is clear that this year's cars look very, very different indeed. As expected, much lower, much wider, those bigger tyres, but also interestingly, the cars seemingly, well, the Sauber at least, with a shark fin on the back. Many people didn't think we'd see the return of those. Red Bull over the winter certainly tried to have them outlawed, but they weren't. Sauber does have that on, and a really, really interesting looking car. A lovely new livery for it as well, blue, white, and the gold writing on it, really paying respect to the fact the team is now 25 years old, still competing in Formula One. A very intricate front wing on the Sauber as well, and I think we'll see that at a lot of teams, well, all the teams this year. Of course, it is the point at which the car punches through the air. Also, needs to be taking a look at the front of the much wider floors on the car as well, and also much bigger diffusers at the rear of the car. So some trends there on the Sauber, which we will see across the cars. But we are here in London today at Royal Horticultural Hall in Victoria for the first physical car launch of 2017. And it will be with Renault as they launch the R.S.17. So there we go, the launch of the R.S.17 here in London. And I've got to say, it's amazing to see these cars in the flesh, and it's quite different to what I was expecting, because having only seen the Sauber and a render of what the Williams is going to look like online, really in the flesh, quite different. That rear wing, so much lower and more angled than I think we got the impression, particularly off the Sauber. And you'll notice also on that rear wing the Castrol logo. Castrol back in Formula One, 20 years in fact since they partnered Renault at Williams to the Constructors and Drivers Championship with Jacques Villeneuve in 1997. So we move to the front. That shark fin is going to be a massive talking point on all the cars. Some people like it, some people don't. It takes away from that kind of traditionalist element, I suppose, but I don't mind it. I think it looks quite aggressive. Then we move to the front, and the part of the car that I think is really interesting, around the front of the floor, you'll see a big, huge, chunky barge board, and behind it, that yellow turning vane with the 30 on the top of it. Really interesting shape on the Renault, and it's actually attached to the side pod with a sort of a looping sort of winglet that just comes off the side of the side pod, and then going down to that very complex front wing. Still the little nub on the front of the noses that we've seen both on the Sauber and on this Renault, and of course those big chunky tyres. The other thing that really impresses in the flesh, I don't know if it looks like it online, but certainly in the flesh, is just how big it is. I mean, it is a wide car. On street tracks, passing could be quite difficult, but definitely the impression that you get is it's going to be a very physical, probably a very heavy car to really wrestle around the tracks. And with that in mind, let's talk to the guys who are going to have to wrestle it around the tracks. First of all, the guy who has got a second year with Renault, Britain's Jolyon, and then the new kid on the block, very highly regarded and very lovely all-round bloke, Mr. Nico Hulkenberg. Jolyon, I'm not going to ask you too much about the car because you haven't really driven it other than on a simulator, I would imagine. So how happy are you to see the car launch today, and how happy are you with the way it looks?
Very happy on both counts, really. I think we've got a car launch, which is a good start. It's well in advance of testing, so hopefully, and I think the guys are progressing well with the design, and it looks really fantastic. So I think the F1 2017 cars look really cool anyway with the new regulations. And I really think that our car looks good as well, and hopefully we've got some new innovations on it that can make it go really quick.
It's a big car, big tyres, it looks very physical to drive. How much training have you had to do this winter in order to prepare yourself for the challenges that lie ahead?
Loads, absolutely loads of training. That's been basically winter plan I think for everyone. For me, it's been trying to put on some muscle. So the last 2 years it's been leaning down, and I'm tall as well, so that means not eating a lot of food. So I've actually been able to eat over the winter, which is good, and just lifting some weights in the gym and actually trying to bulk up a little bit, because it's going to be really physical.
How much weight do you think you've put on in terms of pure muscle?
Somewhere between 3-4 kilos. So it's been actually, I've enjoyed it, because previously it's been sort of cardio, leaning down, not eating, and now you can start to lift some weights, and it's different sort of training, so it's been quite fun.
Obviously you've been training because we think it's going to be a more physical car. Have you had to change the way you think you're going to approach this season in terms of driving style as well, given the new characteristics of the cars?
Yeah, they will be very different. I mean, the cornering speeds are going to be huge compared to what we've had before, what I've ever driven. So driving style, I don't know. We'll have to see in testing. I've never driven anything with so much aero as it's going to have. So I'm really excited for it. I think we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be it's completely new for everyone, but for me as well. I mean, we've still got the hybrid, the V6 in the back, so we're going to have some pretty huge torque still, but now we're going to have huge torque and huge cornering speed, which is nice.
Last year's car wasn't great. How difficult was it for you to ultimately show what you were capable of and to impress in a car that really, didn't really cut the mustard?
It's harder when you're fighting near the back to impress. I mean, people can always say that, and then you think, I was listening to people say that before I was in Formula 1, I was like, yeah, whatever. But when you do good things and no one sees it, you do some bad things and everyone sees it, and that's the truth when you're at the back. So I managed to impress enough to be here, which was my objective last year, so objective complete. I've got new objectives this year, and I really just hope I can learn from last year's experience, and I'm sure I'm a much better driver as a result, and hopefully this year's car can be much better and we can start to show all the good.
That's the thing. How much of a boost did that give you, especially up against someone like Kevin, who got a podium on debut, and so much was expected of him, to get that confidence boost? What did that do for you going into this season, and how much will that help you to kind of act as a springboard almost into this year?
Yeah, I mean, massively. I finished the year really, really strong last year, and compared to Kevin as well, who has been on the podium, he's a highly rated driver. So for me, it was my performances that meant I was signed for this year, and also gave me confidence boost over the winter to be working, with this team again, and just constantly improving as a driver, really. So I'm feeling confident, and now I'm just fingers crossed that we're going to have a really good car and I can show what I can do.
Expectations for the year?
Well, the hope is we're going to be top 5 in the constructors, so that'll be a big step, but I think it's achievable as we're a manufacturer team. For me, to compete well with Nico, I'd love to put a number on it, but I have no idea where we're going to be until we turn a wheel, so we'll have to see.
Good luck.
Cheers. Thanks.
Nico, impossible to say what the car's going to be like yet, but giving it a look, are you happy? Are you impressed?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm excited. I think it looks cool. The new cars in general, that style, lower rear wing, wider, big fat wide tires, look cool. I like the color scheme and the design, so I think it looks really mean and racy. So all good.
You look mean and racy as well. Been seeing some sort of Instagram updates over the winter. How's training going? How hard has it been?
Yeah, it's been tough. I've made sure that I put in a lot of hard work, and it's been quite painful at many times. But I think I wanted to make sure that I'm absolutely at my physical best. The new cars are definitely going to be faster. How much faster in the race? Consistently. It's quite hard to say at the moment, but I just want to be 100% prepared to push 100% every lap of the race.
Last few years, given your height, it's worked against you obviously in terms of weight. How much has the increase in the minimum weight of the car enabled you to actually put on a bit of muscle over the winter?
Yeah, there is a balance to be had. Since or given that I'm also one of the tallest ones, I'm always already quite heavy due to that. So there's not that much scope or margin for me to put on more muscle weight. I think I've gained around a kilo. I've tried to make the muscle obviously better quality, stronger, better endurance, and I think feels quite good so far. Next week will be the true teller. We'll be doing north of 100 laps in Barcelona.
You moved to a factory team in Formula One for the first time. Confident that your bills will be paid on time?
Who said they weren't?
No, I'm joking. But did you not at some point maybe mention last year, or was that just reported? No, probably not. But being with a factory team, it is a big thing. They do have big financial clout behind them. How much are you looking forward to being a part of something that is so big with such weighty sort of expectations?
Yeah, I do look forward to that, and I felt it, from the moment I stepped into the factory at Enstone. You just see what is behind it, what they're putting into it now. There's development everywhere. They're extending the factory, modernizing it, employing people, just building the structure, and you just feel, that power behind it, and it's really encouraging and good for me, to see and feel that. That was, ultimately the reason also why I came here, what attracted me to Renault. And I think we do have, all the right ingredients to build a competitive car. So our job now to make it happen.
Team's objective this year is 5th. That's placed lower than you finished with Force India last season. Is this still a regeneration period for the team before it can go for really the highest levels of success?
Yeah, I think so. You see every team, that is successful or now at the top. If you see in the process, that they've gone through, it takes a couple of years, to really build that structure that enables you, to win races, to get the right people on board as well. It is a very complex thing. So I see this year still as a build-up year, getting everything structured and build up the way it should be. And this year it's just we have to grow and learn step by step and move in the right direction.
Now, during the unveiling of the car, team boss Cyril Abitboul said the key word for the team this season is integration. And that's an integration between the team's base in Enstone in the UK and the engine base at Viry-Châtillon near Paris in France. Guys in the engine department have spent the winter and much of last year as well working on a totally new power unit concept for this season. You may remember last year spent very few engine tokens. Engine tokens have gone this year, but a brand new concept in the back of that car. And of course the team hailing from France, you see the tricolore on the car once again this year. They have a keen knowledge and a real key interest obviously in their history and in their nationality, and nobody really sums up France's association with Formula One and indeed Renault's association with Formula One more than four-time world champion Alain Prost. And this season he's been brought into the team as a special advisor. We caught up with him at the launch. Alain Prost, we've seen the launch of the R.S.17 today. A very different design, very different regulations for this season. How impressed are you with the car, and what do you think of the regulations for this season?
I am impressed, obviously, as everybody, because it's quite a different car. It's quite wide and long, and on the other side, you are also very impressed when the car is on the track and if it's working well. Then you can be happy about the change. I think it's difficult to tell what's going to happen. All the cars may look a little bit different. When I looked first at the car, I said, what is going to be the Red Bull? What is going to be the Mercedes? Because you don't know. With this type of regulation, you are waiting for the others because we know what they have done. We know the improvement, especially on the aero side. And everybody is in the same situation. Said, we have to wait for what the others have done, and maybe one team could have found something a little bit special and could take an advantage on it, maybe for a short term, maybe medium term, you don't know. And that is the particularity of this season. And the second one is even if you have a performance of cars at the first race, it's going to change constantly because the development is going to be done engine and chassis during the whole year, so it's not going to stay fixed, which is good thing for the show.
And you are going to be an intrinsic part of the team this year. How proud are you to be back as an official part of the Renault Formula One team, given you have such a rich history with Renault, and what will your role specifically be?
Yeah, I'm very proud, obviously, because I did not want to be involved in the past, and then I think it was the right moment to do it. In this way, the role is a little bit different. I did not want to be also, I don't have a day-to-day involvement, which is very important. I prefer to stay a little bit back. I'm a member of the executive committee, which is very, very important. and then I will see everything. I find that we can improve or change, and I'm going to give my input on that. Also, Formula One is at also the beginning of a new cycle in a way, because we have Liberty Media about Formula One, and we are going to talk very quickly about regulation change and maybe the commercial issues and what is going to be the best for Formula One. So you need to have somebody with the experience also to give some advice in a way, or what to do or what not to do, and also the marketing side is also very important, and we need to find some more support, more synergy, positive synergy, and I'm going to work on this side too.
So that's it from the Renault F1 team launch here in London at the start of a week of highly anticipated F1 car launches. Tomorrow it's Force India's turn at Silverstone.